Well, this is a lot of expensive stuff and no double red, but I'm going to keep a hand that has 2 drops, and having a 1-drop is helpful. Alright, black play is a very bad sign, unless it's Esper, but yeah. So we're immediately playing what is probably a Cleric's deck, and oh, no, that comes into play on not untapped. I think this matchup is probably horrible for us, because I feel like Clerics does a very good job of just making a big creature, and 1 big creature is all it takes to kind of shut us off. So they've had 2 Angel of Unity hits on some creature that hasn't been played yet, or well, on some combination of creatures that haven't been played yet, which means there is possibly a very good chance that the opponent just plays a very big thing very quickly. Would I prefer to upgrade Ranger class and start putting counters on things? They do have Verse, but I'm not sure. Usually that's a sideboard card, and I'm not sure if they bring it in against this deck, if they know how many multicolored creatures we have. Because most of the stuff that Verse hits is the stuff that isn't necessarily excellent against them anyway. I think I'm probably supposed to play the second Ranger class and go wide rather than upgrade Ranger class here. If I did upgrade Ranger class, I'd probably put a counter on the token, and then expect they trade with the token. That's just not terribly exciting. Ooh, they have some creature in hand that's so absolutely massive. I'm terrified. Yeah, it's a 6/6 Voice of the Blessed, sure. Alright, well, that's a problem. 4 more counters, it gains flying, and then I lose the game. Hopefully Town-razer Tyrant stops enough of these Angel of Unity triggers that I have a chance. Am I supposed to shut off Cave? Or punish them for... I'm supposed to shut off the ability for Cave to animate because they're probably never going to sack the land. They gain too much life for that. Yeah, I have done no damage, and my opponent's board is relatively unassailable. This is deeply concerning. Alright, well, we got our 1 dragon. Yeah. Alright. Definitely do not have an answer to Voice of the Blessed. Opponent wants to give me an Angel of Unity. Just... Is there a world in which I'm supposed to triple block Voice of the Blessed? I feel like that involves me losing this game very hard to a 5/5, a 3/1, a 1/3, and a 1/3. But also, like, if I don't triple block it here, how am I ever winning the game against it? I guess if I draw another Town-razer Tyrant immediately, maybe... no? Okay. We have, more or less, I believe, no hope whatsoever. I agree that I don't think this is a matchup we're happy about. Ugh. Okay. Not stellar. Anything that's going on. Oh my. My. Yeah, I'm gonna go with We Are Dead. Very, 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 very dead. What are we supposed to do about any of that? What is our game plan here? How do we answer the opponent having creatures that are big? Tangletrap not outright destroying a creature with flying is a pretty big bummer. Part of me thinks that, like, Avabruck Caretaker and just trying to go very wide, or rather very tall, on creatures that block flyers might be a viable game plan. I definitely don't love Volatile Arsonist, I don't believe. You give Reach, Tenacious Pup? No, that's disappointing. So... I don't know, are we on like Thundering Rebuke as a 4-of to try to answer Righteous Valkyries and Angel of Unities and Voice of the Blessed before our opponent can go big with them? And if so, what are we cutting? I agree. I think this matchup is probably inherently extremely terrible. My normal inclination would be to cut Ranger class, but that might not be correct in a matchup where we kind of have to be attacking and staying bigger than the opponent, or else we lose. Town-razer Tyrant seems so incredibly bad, but a 4/4 flyer might be the best blocker we can hope for. Maybe our plan is supposed to be that we just don't... like, we aren't a deck where the part of Town-razer Tyrant that is good at blocking matters, because if we're blocking, we're already losing. Maybe? I'm gonna try to go with that as an idea, but I'm not confident that it's correct. Do we turn into red control? AKA life total control? I don't know. I really don't know what our plan is supposed to be here. It seems so easy for them to just get a creature that's big enough to completely shut off our ability to be aggressive. But maybe I'm supposed to try to be mindful of every possible way I have to prevent the opponent from getting a big creature, and maybe that means just playing removal. The trouble is that all of our removal is really limited to only killing stuff with 4 toughness or less. Well, here I think the plan is to start attacking with Packleader and drawing cards and such. Opponent doesn't have 3 power, so they can't make a profitable block on any of this. Angel of Unity really feels like a card that is a problem, though. Luckily, Skyclave Apparition doesn't trigger it, so it's not continuing to grow the board there. I think we're at least assembling the beginnings of a beatdown plan that is somewhat functional. And drawing lots of cards with Werewolf Packleader is good. Okay. Alright. Quizzer Captain as a 4/4 is a problem in that it shuts off all of my creatures' current abilities to attack. Luckily, the other Inquisitor Captain's only a 3/3. Alright, well, that kind of embarrassed us entirely. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? think the answer to that is that we probably start by scrying. Don't really want another Tovolar right now. I think we start putting counters on things with Halana and Alena, but I have nothing with Reach. I guess maybe Halana and Alena is supposed to be my game plan for how do I beat big creatures. Although the fact that the opponent can just play removal makes going tall on one creature real hard, doesn't it? Oh. I can't really attack and trigger Packleader very effectively here, so I think I'm just hanging back and not really progressing my board very well. Okay, the good news is that Aura isn't super scary. The opponent doesn't have anything in their graveyard. That's definitely how not being scary works. So now the opponent attacks, gains 1 life. Sure. I would like to draw our 6-drop, because this feels like a scenario where our 6-drop is probably decent. Let's still don't have anything with Reach other than Alena. Doesn't matter yet. Is a perk. I could attack with 2/5/5 Werewolves. If we did that, the opponent blocks with Tiny Inquisitor Captain, and the Big Inquisitor Captain gets back Glasspool Mimic, copying Skyclave Apparition, which answers our Tovolar, or rather answers our Halana. I don't think we can accept that, which means what? That I can't attack? I do believe that means I probably can't attack. Alright, Pyre of Heroes means the opponent gets to tutor up infinity removal spells, and that's a problem. Yeah, I don't feel like at any point in either of these games we've had the capacity to make decisions that had any impact on the game whatsoever. Which was essentially one of my concerns with this deck. I don't think that it has super great game against other aggro decks, or especially the mid-rangey decks. It's kind of, I feel like, very uniquely positioned to hurt control decks and not a lot else. Huh. Yeah, sacks that. Gets Righteous Valkyrie, sure. That's kind of interesting. I will submit 0. I don't know what happens if I try to transform Packleader. Oh, Tovolar, how come you can't pump Halana and Alena? That'd be real good. Blizzard Brawl? The mana-based super doesn't support it, because you have to get up to 3 snow permanents before Blizzard Brawl does anything. And, like, looking at the board, we currently would not have Blizzard Brawl active on 7 mana. So it really doesn't work, unfortunately. How do we do this? Kind of surprised that... Oh, right, they can't grab Skyclave Apparition directly. Right. And they didn't have a 3-drop Cleric. I forgot Pyre of Heroes actually has restrictions. So, do I just have to attack with everything and then lose? Is that the game plan? I feel like that's the game plan. Do you only get back Clerics? You do. Okay, so you can't actually get back Skyclave Apparition. Oh. We do draw a lot of cards. Could be slightly worse than this. Could be better. Could be better. Yeah, Tovolar gone. Oh, you can't make that block on Righteous Valkyrie, opponent. Tovolar has an ability. guess the line is that they don't care because the Inquisitor Captain is dying. Oh, yeah, I messed up. I should have done all the damage to Lunarch Veteran and not killed the Inquisitor Captain. No, I guess Aura's also dying, so it doesn't matter. They're getting 2 back anyway. Yeah, I think so. Uncertain how much I could play around this at all. Oh, I should do this for 2 so that I draw a card. Alright, opponent's board is gone. Opponent's board comes back. We draw 2 cards. Now, do they do this in the correct order? I think they meant to stack these in reverse, but maybe... No, they're probably going to clone Skyclave Apparition is the idea, isn't it? Wait, did they... double target Righteous Valkyrie? Yeah, they did. Okay, so opponent messed up a little bit there. They wanted the first thing that they targeted with Aura to be the Glasspool Mimic, and the last thing they targeted to be Righteous Valkyrie. Instead, they targeted Righteous Valkyrie with both the first and the last. Which, okay, that's Caretaker. That's got some potential. Isn't Mimic a cleric? Isn't it a shapeshifter? Oh, but it's not, right, it's not a all types shapeshifter. I see. Okay. So that's why they fizzled it, because there was only 1 3-drop in their graveyard that was a legal target. Not a changeling. Right. So opponent's already played a creature, which means it's not turning into night. Avabruck Caretaker would be a lot better if it was night. And I feel like I'm dead because opponent was doing things in the meantime. So I have 1 creature with reach, and no life gain, and infinity damage to be dealt to me. Also, my opponent's just casually at 35, so doesn't matter how much damage I do to them. Did I play Pup to turn it into day? I did play Pup to turn it into day. My expectation was the opponent was probably going to be able to turn it to day on their turn regardless of whether I turned it to day or not. But perhaps, given the lands they've missed, that was a mistake on my part, not accounting for the fact that they wanted to activate Pyre in all likelihood. How am I handling this? What am I doing? I don't really see any way around me losing here. I can do cool stuff with Halana and Alena and Avabruck Caretaker, but I don't think cool stuff involves winning the game. Just not enough ability to chump block and not be dead here. Like, I can chump block Voice of the Blessed and not be dead, but then I'm losing Halana and Alena, and that, like, I still think that involves me being dead. Yikes. Alright, am I cashing in Packleader for a card here? No, probably not. So we are dead to all removal spells that hit Halana and Alena. We are dead to a Righteous Valkyrie. That is a Righteous Valkyrie, which is a tiny problem. Opponent's at 68. I'm going to go ahead and say this matchup's probably completely unwinnable. Oh, hey, cool. The opponent decided not to kill us. I'm sure this is the opening we needed to win this game. Land, not gonna get there. I don't think. So we're gonna concede in the interest of I drew the card that I thought was the most impactful and it didn't matter at all. So I would be interested... Alright, that's getting shipped. I would be interested in whether... his hand is so close to good. So I would be interested in whether Is It with a bunch of Key to the Archives is actually good against clerics. That seems like that could be possibly the case. I think we keep this, and I think we ship Pup. And I think we just play Forsaken Crossroads on green on turn 1. And take our scry. No Lair of the Hydra. I want my next land to be able to cast Town-razer Tyrant. Indicate Pathway, so it could be Esper Control, could be Clerics. Still could be either one. I have absolutely no clue whatsoever what Dorothea could possibly mean. Could be literally anything. But I don't think I'm going to attack into it until I'm at least drawing a card for attacking. So yes, Esper. I suppose we knew that after the Murkwater Pathway. Okay. Cleric class. Wizard class, actually. No, is the actual name of that card. Okay. You get sacrificed and get brought back as a Geist of St. Traft aura. Sure. Okay. Well, I'm going to attack and draw a card, and then do damage and draw another card, and that feels like a good exchange for... This feels like not the timing the opponent wanted to do this at, but okay. I will accept my card. It's... I feel like I got a 3 for 2 there? Is that what that amounts to? I'm going to go after my opponent's blue mana. I have no clue what their relative distributions are. Brushstrokes with Dorothea's. Maybe? I don't know if that strikes me as like a super great synergy, but could be. We're flooding out a little bit, which makes the having drawn cards sad. Okay, opponent, you did nothing. You didn't even draw 2 cards with Wizard class. So what's the plan? Okay. Still nothing? Alright. Hall of the Storm Giants. Okay. Huh. Wedding announcement. Yeah, I got no idea. I mean, we're definitely looking at cards. Definitely seeing a lot of cards. I'm just gonna fire up my things that attack and then turn them sideways. These have lifelink? No. Okay. Opponent's life total is low, which makes the Town-razer Tyrant ability continue to be good. Okay, so our initial expectations of Gruul seems to be good against opponents who are playing control do nothing. That seems to still be the case. Yes. Has not changed. What am I supposed to do after having seen this? Do we make no sideboard changes? Don't think it's fair to call what our opponent was doing was control. I mean, they definitely played a 2-mana removal spell, which is what Dorothy essentially is, and then played another 2-mana removal spell. The rest of it I don't know, but we saw 2 removal spells, an Esper mana base, and a Hall of the Storm Giants out of them, which I guess control is the closest to a name I could give that. Control implies a sense of purpose. Opponent is on draw 2s and removal. I would qualify that as probably a purpose. I don't know where to rank the functionality of that purpose, but I do think that that is a purpose. Do I bring in Snakeskin Veil? I guess? Maybe? No. I don't know. I'm not going to touch it. I do not know enough about what's going on here to accurately deduce how to do anything about it. Alright, well, Rahilda and Tovolar is a curve. And Town-razer Tyrant's cool. I don't love having the second Tovolar, but I would keep this hand as a 6-card hand, so I'm supposed to keep it as a 7-card hand. Okay, opponent. What are we naming with Curse of Silence? I don't think that's how Curse of Silence is supposed to work, but okay. Town-razer Tyrant? Very well. Yeah, that's a 6-drop now. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to play Rahilda over Werewolf Packleader, but maybe I was supposed to play Cragcrown Pathway on green just to represent either one, given the opponent has Curse of Silence in their deck, and I want them to have to consider naming Werewolf Packleader. Oh, opponent, your Curse of Silence has hit 2 creatures now. One of those enchantment decks. Okay, well, that kind of makes sense. Dorothy is an enchantment removal spell. And Wedding... Yeah, okay. My creature has Defender. I suppose that means that I'm probably supposed to board in the Naturalize Werewolf? Something foretold. Okay. That could mean literally anything. Saw it coming? Geistlight Snare. Oh, okay. Mana leak if you have an enchantment. Sure, that's cute. Well, I'm just gonna sit here drawing cards. Being happy. Sooner or later, we're gonna play these Town-razer Tyrants, 6 mana or not. What have you foretold, opponent? What have you foretold? Absolutely no idea what that might be. Probably a board wipe, if I had to guess. So how deep am I supposed to go against probably a board wipe? I don't know. I'm going to go with deep enough. I mean, we're going to draw 2 cards. That's kind of like rebuilding from a board wipe. I'm assuming we're going to draw 2 cards. We're in a really good spot if we draw 2 cards. And we did draw 2 cards. Or 3, actually. Alright. I care a lot less about a board wipe now. Yeah, Doomscar, that does make sense. That seemed like the most reasonable thing for it to be. So I could play Stormseeker Tovolar, or I could just play a Town-razer Tyrant. Start our opponent's land burning. Attack their black mana. I suppose I could play around Geistlight Snare. Not really, actually. Not if I want to play Tenacious Pup before Stormseeker. I don't really need to play Tenacious Pup before Stormseeker, though. Okay, so opponent has priority for something here, which might be a Gaslight Snare. Yeah, let's just play the Tovolar. Okay, Stormseeker versed. We have the Tovolar developed. Hallowed Haunting. Okay, so that doesn't do anything, right? It does things when they cast enchantments. Got it. Ah. I don't think I'm supposed to play Town-razer Tyrant and let them draw a card, since that can turn into a cleric. I think I just want to do lethal? Okay. I admit, I forgot Halana and Alena could give Tenacious Pup haste, which makes this lethal. That's a better line than the Town-razer Tyrant that I was considering. This is interesting. Am I supposed to play the Packleader or Pup on turn 1? What do I think overall about the Werewolf deck? Overall, this Werewolf deck in particular, I think that this deck does a really good job of arranging its threats in a way that are hard for the current control decks to beat. I don't know if I feel very confident in the deck as a choice overall, because it seems like it's not well positioned against the more mid-rangey decks or the other aggro decks. Which, yeah, I don't know. That makes it an interesting metagame call. I don't know if it'll be the correct metagame call for next week. Gold Calipers, since you were deemed to take a look at a deck list, if you would like to put the deck list into a format that I can copy and paste it, so either like Pastebin or somewhere that the Arena export is at, and then link it in the chat. That way I can, what's the word I'm looking for? I know there's a word I'm looking for. Show it on the screen after this game. Alright, Tovolar, we draw a card. He's cool. He's cool. And then help remind me after this match is finished, because I'm going to forget by then. Because I always forget by then. Oh no! All the removal on my stuff. How sad. I believe I just want a Town-razer Tyrant while that's guaranteed to resolve. I know a lot of players here, from having been on the Izzet side of the table, would target the Hall of the Storm Giants to turn off the ability. I think I'm supposed to go for the dual-colored land first to make it more painful for them to sacrifice, especially because these decks typically care about getting up to triple red. I don't know whether Key to the Archive makes me regret that or not, though. Might make me regret that. I was hoping we'd hit an untapped land here. Wait, do I? Was I on the play? I have no clue if I was on the play or not. How do I find out if I was on the play? I guess I just play this because I'm going to play it no matter what. Okay, cool. I wasn't on the play. Alright, untap. And I believe that I'm supposed to Tenacious Pup and play Alena. I think that is the line. And then we pump the pump. Pump the pup. Get in for the most we can. If it's yellow border, it's tapped. If it's blue, you can untap it. Oh! Alright, opponent hit Time Warp. Didn't do anything else on the Time Warp turn, which makes it kind of... but successfully looted away. Wait, they discarded their only land to get the Time Warp? I don't know about that one, opponent. So opponent has to be looking for Lightning Helix here? No, wait, none of my creatures die to Lightning Helix. That still doesn't do anything. Okay. Good talk. So against Key to the Archive... well, for starters, is this just... this looks like it's the blue-red deck that we were considering playing next. So that's a good start for green-red's abilities in that matchup. A good first indication, anyway. The only cards I think I'm super interested in are Snakeskin Veil and Liberator. Nope, not Tangletrap. Liberator. I think Tangletrap is probably just against dragons. Wasn't that the land they sacrificed? Oh, you're right, it might have been. I didn't realize they had already sacrificed the land. Wait, you are correct. That is what happened. Divide by 0 must have been what they discarded because they never cast that. Makes sense. What are we cutting? My instinct is to say Ranger class. So I'm just going to do that because that's what my brain says. I agree that aggro is a decent way to deal with Esper. Is it? Specifically, this aggro deck is a good way to deal with those decks. I'm not entirely certain how to feel about this deck's matchup against the mid-range and other aggro decks. That's what has me kind of concerned with it. A curve here is pretty good, but we definitely want to stop drawing lands. Yeah. I mean, I guess this is good if this Expressive Iteration hits an untapped blue source or a Fading Hope, but this kind of situation is why I'm always so uncertain about Expressive Iteration. It does hit a land, so it ends up being a draw too, but like... it doesn't feel good to sacrifice tempo against aggressive decks. I guess if you have to Expressive Iteration, then you have to Expressive Iteration. Arlen is probably for this sort of matchup. I have no clue what kind of matchup Arlen is for. I don't know that I feel like it's good against, is it? Alright. Smoldering Egg into Unexpected Windfall is the idea. If I play this Town-razer Tyrant pre-combat, I get so punished if they have Jwari Disruption or Disdainful Stroke, because they counter the Tyrant and give the egg haste. Or transform the egg, rather. I guess that instead of pumping the Stormseeker, I could just pump the Werewolf Packleader and not draw a card if I do that. I think I'm supposed to play it out. Alright. There was not a Jwari Disruption or a Disdainful Stroke, so I'm not insanely super punished. I think I just attack with everything and I'm willing to lose one creature to the Smoldering Egg here. Yeah, Spike Field, eat the Packleader. Arlen against control is sort of another angle, and I could see that against Esper, because it dodges Vanishing Verse, but I'm not convinced that it's good against a deck like Izzet, because whatever you're cutting is also an aggressive threat that's probably better than it. Yeah, alright. Opponent cleans up the board nicely. Still has to hold the Ashmouth Dragon back, because the Lair of the Hydra is being represented. So this is probably a point where the opponent has taken over the game with the Smoldering Egg. Izzet's weaker against aggro, but that's why I want to keep the curve low, rather than raise it. Alright, I think we got a pass here. I imagine the opponent chooses this turn to sacrifice the coast. Opponent attacks, which I take to mean they think they have some way to deal with Lair of the Hydra. Deeply concerning for me if that is the case, on account of me not having a way around that. Opponent just needs to have 2 spells to kill any creature, huh? Alright, well, I might as well start forcing them to spend mana on stuff. Alright, that could have been worse. Divide by 0 is not the end of the world, but it is bad for me. Alright, does my slasher actually get in, opponent? Okay, alright. Well, that makes Lair of the Hydra scarier on future turns. Opponent might need to do more to actually respect that, including leaving Ashmouth Dragon back. Possibly. Spikefield has... Oh, alright. I'm kind of surprised they didn't start with Teachings. Now they've kind of wasted 2 damage. Opponent can attack with Ashmouth if they have Fading Hope. They don't. Okay. So, Town-razer Tyrant removes one of the opponent's lands and then probably dies. Alternatively, I could fire up Lair of the Hydra for 5. Opponent has to block. They could have Fading Hope. I feel like firing up Lair of the Hydra for 5 is the most likely way to remove the Ashmouth Dragon. So I think that's probably what I'm supposed to do. Takes them 3 spells to kill it. I think this kind of puts them on needing to have Fading Hope. Which they do. Okay. That leaves me dead on board to the hole. So they had egg early. Do I potentially try to board into something to kill eggs? I don't think that's correct. But it does make me question the Outland Liberator plan, and whether that should be a Thundering Rebuke, possibly. I think Tangletrap is probably too narrow. But I don't think I like Volatile Arsonist at the very least. I mean, it's not necessarily narrow. It hits Dragon after it's transformed, and it hits Key, both of which can be interesting. Alright, I think I'm still not on the Ranger or class plan at all. I don't know whether I'm supposed to be boarding into Tangletrap or Thundering Rebuke. It's probably Thundering Rebuke if I'm going to play a removal spell. It also hits Lair, which might matter. But now we get to be on the play, see how that does. Take the play. Ugh. No 2-drop and no 1-drop. Feels like a hand I'm probably not supposed to keep. Tovolar is not the best 3-drop on its own. I'm tempted to keep 4 lands Town-razer Tyrant, but I think that's probably a mistake. Hey, it's the same hand, but worse. Okay. Cool. Cool. We're gonna keep it. The Lair of the Hydra is an upgrade at least. But this is a pretty bad sign. And I don't think I'm supposed to mulligan to 5. Whew, more lands is a very bad sign. A relatively incredibly foreboding beginning. More lands, not great. Alright, well, at least Stormseeker is something. I imagine I'm supposed to play that before Tovolar. More sorcery speed removal spell. Continue to make me sad. Alright, well, we're going to play to the board here, and then we're probably getting hit with a 5-mana board wipe. And I don't know that I can do anything good about that. Oh, just a Smoldering Egg. Okay. Well, that's something. Smoldering Egg and then Expressive Iteration is certainly saying that you have a plan. Yowzas. Okay. So we get to put the opponent to 10, draw a land, mildly concerning. Spikefield Hazard face. Wow, that is dedication to using mana efficiently for Smoldering Egg. That's for sure. Alright, now is where Unexpected Windfall would be pretty devastating, I imagine. Just Expressive Iteration, okay. Well, that does seem to give us a chance here. Opponent's not doing a ton to the board yet. But something like an Abrade Packleader would still be pretty scary. Divide by 0 Tovolar, transform Ashmouth Dragon, have a Spikefield Hazard, clear Packleader. Have a Spikefield Hazard, clear Packleader. Okie dokie. Opponent knows what they're up to. Well, part of me wants to animate Lair of the Hydra for 5 and swing. That gets us into a similar scenario as last game, where the opponent is then obligated to respect the Lair of the Hydra with a chump block, or else have Fading Hope. Although they're not really, because if they sorcery speed Environmental Sciences, that puts them up to 7. Maybe that instead means that I'm supposed to Town-razer Tyrant, the Stormcarved Coast, and play Tovolar? I'm really likely to get my board just repeatedly cleaned up by the Ashmouth Dragon in that case, though. Still, I think that's probably the best thing I can do. I wonder if I was supposed to play the Forsaken Crossroads tapped that turn, and not play the Tovolar, play the Packleader instead. That might have been better. Wow, opponent took the damage. Okay. Makes sense if they want to just cast a bunch of spells with Ashmouth Dragon, I suppose. They're at a relatively safe life total. Brittle Blast. Sure. Opponent clears the board. Goes up to 10. Yeah, Super would have been better to have played the Forsaken Crossroads in this spot. Not looking at Packleader. No, I think this just puts us on Animating Lair of the Hydra for 5. Okay, but it goes to 5. Turns to Knight. Now, what are they up to? Floating mana and then casting what? Windfall. Okay. I think that might actually be wrong. I wonder if they wanted to hold that until our turn and just lose the mana. Makes it slightly easier to potentially kill Lair of the Hydra before losing the Ashmouth Dragon? I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on their hand. Okay, burn down the house to make a bunch of chump blockers. and turn it back to day? Okay, I kind of see it. I kind of see it. I'm 1 mana short of going Packleader, Stormseeker, give Packleader haste, activate, give it trample, which is a bummer. So instead, I suppose I'm just playing Stormseeker and Halana and Alena and attacking with both of those as big creatures. So we want the Stormseeker trigger to resolve first. Do I attack with both here? They kill the Halana and Alena? Am I okay with that? They have to lose 2 devils to do that? Unclear. Probably yes. Probably yes. Oh, that's first strike. So they have to lose 3 devils to kill it. Okay. Oh, yeah, this works well then. Shows how rarely that's ever mattered to me, huh? Thoughts on Red-Green Wolves versus Croaky's Naya Wolves? I haven't seen a Naya's Wolves list. So I'm uncertain what the advantages of that would be. Okay, Stormseeker bounced, Alena pinged. They've already used environmental sciences this turn, or this game, so start from scratch. Okay, alright, start from scratch, actually turning out to be pretty useful here. I suspect the opponent has missed lethal. Probably. By a lot. Alright, how do we punish that, though? Even assuming the opponent has no card in hand that's interactive, do we have something we can do? If I could fire up both layers for 5, but I can't. Can I fire up both layers for 3? Well, 1 layer for 3 and 1 layer for 2 would do it. Not Stormseeker, Wolf, Pump Wolf. Oh, that might actually be lethal. I might have enough for that. Yeah, I think that's lethal if the opponent doesn't have interaction. But they have priority here, so I think they have interaction. Is making me pay 1 good enough? I'm kind of upset. I think that's good enough. Oh, opponent. Opponent. Can we draw? No. No, we cannot. We only die. It's not the damage to my face that matters, it's that I'm now 1 mana short of activating the Packleader. Otherwise, they would die before the Devil trigger resolved. Oh, I should have, I guess, attacked for 1 with Lair the Hydra, but yeah. Yep, alright, if I had 1 more mana. Wowzers. Interesting. So both of those losses were to Ashmouth Dragon kind of exclusively. Just killing everything. But I don't think they actually played that many Ashmouth Dragons. They could, but I don't think they do. What to think of that? I don't know. Okay, I think this hand is fine. Oh, Morocco, were you the person we were just playing? Good games if so. That was really interesting to play. Okay, I think I like the way this curves out, but I don't like the fact that we are playing against mono green, which, alright, well, I just played a land on red, so I'm not going to play the pack leader. Which I think is probably a horrible matchup for us, and also we're on the draw. Kessig Naturalist also extremely bad against mono green, because it can't attack, because all of mono green's creatures are much bigger than ours. I am actually going to have to sacrifice this Kessig Naturalist to just play Alena. Oh, the opponent hit their third land, but it was tapped? Oh, opponent. Oh no, opponent. Didn't even have a removal spell. Kind of surprising. Alright, what am I playing then? I feel like it's probably supposed to be Town-razer Tyrant. I don't think I'm supposed to jam Halana and Alena here. And I don't think I'm supposed to play, like, Tenacious Pup. I think generally it's better to play Halana and Alena first, but I don't know, doing it post-combat feels bad. Maybe I'm still supposed to do it regardless of whether it feels bad or not. Open Wall Oddity with a counter. Yeah, that's good. It's got Vigilance, but no Reach at least. No blocking on our half. It's very tempting to play Tenacious Pup into Halana and Alena, but I don't think we can. I mean, I guess I could play Kessig Naturalist into Tenacious Pup, turn it back to Day, and then next turn play Halana and Alena. That feels probably wrong, though. I think I'm just putting the counter on Lord of Ulvenwald and attacking with both creatures. I think I'm happy if my opponent trades with either one of them. Oh, and because of this I get to play Tenacious Pup next turn. Or, well, second main phase. That also seems cool. Gaining life is fun. Whether turning it back to Day or not is correct, I don't know. Opponent does have to sack the Lair. That's cool. Yeah, Oddity has Vigilance, sure. Opponent doesn't have anything to play? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but okay. So we play Kessig Naturalist, pump more of the team. I assume I'm supposed to give that haste. That seems probably good. Yeah, okay. So, I stand by my original assumption that I think mono green is just very favored against green-red. But I will add the caveat that if mono green doesn't play any of their cards, then they lose a lot of the advantage that they inherently have. That's going to be my evaluation of that. Alright, let's see. I don't like Ascendant Packleader at all. I do like Thundering Rebuke and Brittle Blast and Burning Hands. I don't really love Town-razer Tyrant, and I don't really love Volatile Arsonist. I think I like Arlen. I think I like Caretaker. I probably don't like Town-razer Tyrant at all, actually. I think this is the kind of matchup where Arlen comes in when you need a mid-range match where Town-razer Tyrant's stats aren't good enough and your opponent's liable to be more aggressive than you because you can't get in damage over their creatures, so the ability just stops mattering. I can certainly say that when I was playing mono green, I did not care if my opponent played a Town-razer Tyrant at all. So it feels like the matchup where I probably want to be cutting it. Yeah, alright. This feels relatively clean, I think. Maybe there's some world in which I'm supposed to play Snakeskin Veil? I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't like Ranger class very much when I'm not liable to be attacking, but I don't really want to mulligan, so we're gonna keep, but I'm probably not supposed to be happy about it. Tenacious Pup, sure. I also really don't like Kessig Naturalist. It's probably concerning that I don't like most of my 2-drops. Sculptor of Winter. Okay, that is like the least threatening thing for Tenacious Pup to get its counter put on. So that's nice. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. Alright, we're going to play Kessig Naturalist here, because if the opponent decides for some reason to, like, play a 4-4 with haste and attack with it, then I can mana ramp out Halana and Alena. Or rather, probably rather 2 Ranger classes, actually. Either way, I'm already very far behind. Ravenous Pursuit. Okay. Could have been much, much scarier than that. Yeah, the Vigilance is cute. They get to attack with a Sculptor and then pump their mana post-combat. Are you missing a land drop, opponent? You are, maybe? Alright, that's... gives me something resembling hope. My turn 3 is still pretty bad, so I'm kind of disappointed, but yeah, it's alright. Opponent plays a 4-4. It turns into a 5-5. And has Vigilance and Trample. It's not good for me. Whoa, wait, what? Ranger class? What? Why? Why did we tap Sculptor of Winter for that? Why didn't we attack with the Vigilance creature? Opponent, I don't understand. Okay. Alright. Sure. Okay. Well, we're gonna play Arlen. And we're gonna downtick. And we're gonna hope we can untap with the Arlen still alive. But Sculptor of Winter makes that pretty hard. If our opponent wants to kill Arlen, they can. Because the Sculptor has Trample, and that's very good. Alright. Definitely super capable of killing the Arlen if they want to. Okay. Opponent gives me the option to chump block to save the Arlen. I'll take it. Not sure they were really supposed to do that, but alright. Works for me. Then we're going to sorcery speed the Halana and Alena because it's the +1/+1 counter that we really like. And we make a big 5-5 because having the biggest creature on board in green mirrors is important. And we're not going to attack because we want to block. Okay, what do we got? Grizzled Huntmaster. It finally gets a pup counter. Alright. Opponent does not use the ability? Okay. Interesting. Well, let's uptick Arlen. Play land. We can put counters on things with Halana and Alena. I could attack with Halana and Alena. If we put a counter on it, first strike kills Huntmaster, and then they have 5 power. So what if I put 2 counters on it? Two counters sounds cool. Let's make 2 big creatures, and let's just attack with this. It goes up to 5 power, 6 toughness. That seems excellent. Okay, well, if we just put a ton of counters on Halana, then I feel like that's a recipe to win this game in the long run. Blizzard Brawl still kills our creature, so still make me sad. They didn't have a block to kill Halana and Alena. That's why playing the second Ranger class mattered, because the first strike kills the Huntmaster, and then they only have 5 power to block with, and we get the toughness up to 6. Do I want Arlen to get trampled on too? I can trade the 6/6 if I don't want that to happen. I probably don't want that to happen. And I also don't want to run into the opponent putting 2 +1/+1 counters on Griddle Huntmaster and blowing me out. So I think I'm willing to lose the slightly larger creature to accomplish that. 2 Reckless Stormseekers, huh? I feel like I am probably supposed to play both of these and double pump Halana and then put 1 pump onto the Stormcharge Slasher and like just make a just absolutely the biggest Halana and Alena possible. That's the goal. Yeah, why not? Just big creatures. Everything big creature. Only big creature. All big creature all day long. Big, 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 big. Big, 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 big. So big. So very big. Oh, opponent, that's got trample. You don't want to chump block that. Put it down to 3. Okay. Big, big, big. Very big. Yeah, the opponent's mana problems were definitely a major, major factor in this, and I don't think of it as very representative. But it was cool. Although, come to think of it, why is my audio like not playing at all? It seems like something that happens disconcertingly often. Oh, that's why the audio isn't playing at all. That would be because there were headphones plugged in. Okay. Asked and answered. Well, I'm going to keep this. This is way too many lands, but it's got a 1-drop into a 2-drop, so here we are. Hey, E&G. Thanks for the sub. I really appreciate the support. Am I willing to trade 1-drop for 1-drop? I am, although that makes me sad. Although, if I don't offer this trade and play the pack leader, next turn, if I fail to draw anything, then I can animate Lair of the Hydra for 1 and draw a card with pack leader. I think I'm actually desperate enough to play around that. Oh, hey! EG, thanks for gifting a bunch of subs, too. I really, really appreciate that. No! Our plan! My cards! I wanted to draw them! Opponent, why do you have efficient removal? With 1 card, my opponent just removed 50% of the threats that I have. Deeply, deeply concerning. Oh, goodness. Alright, we gotta attack here because blocking is also terrible. Ooh. Hopefully we draw cards to play. Alright, Paladin class is fine. I had no intention of casting spells on my opponent's turn. The other Paladin class is also fine for the same reason. At least that costs the opponent a bunch of mana to do anything meaningful with. Alright. Ranger class is not the best 4-drop in our deck, but it is a 4-drop that does literally anything at all. And that's better than something that doesn't do anything at all. Or it doesn't do anything at all, because it gets countered. No, that's not true. That does more than nothing. It gets a card out of the opponent's hand and helps Volatile Arsonist. That said... Oh, spirits. That's why the Usher. Okay. That's also why the opponent didn't block with the Usher. Very well, opponent. Looks like a Spirits and Enchantments deck built around Geistlight Snare. I'm uncertain whether Paladin class seems like... Oh wow, this is the same deck again. Okay, so this must have gotten played on somebody's stream or YouTube channel or something, that it suddenly became popular. Because this does not seem to me like a deck that is... meta. I don't think. Volatile Arsonist seems sort of absolutely excellent here. Because it's got Menace, right? Maybe I'm underrating how good this card is? Because we get to ping down the tokens so that they can't block the Arsonist. They could choose to block the Packleader, I guess. Dorothea isn't actually card disadvantage. It seems like it is, but because it like sacrifices itself and doesn't get to do the usual creature thing. But think of it like a removal spell. This isn't any different from Thundering Rebuke, because you can just play it and then block eventually. Circle of Confinement does not hit 5 drops, so okay. Works for me. Let's see. Should I fire up Lair for 4? Or just start putting counters on stuff with Ranger class? I'm gonna go with I should probably start putting counters on stuff with Ranger class. Ping, ping, submit 0, counter, ping, 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 smash, ping, smash. Alright. So we have big menace creature that is lethal currently. What does the opponent's top deck say? Yeah, playing like Stormcarved Coast to make your 3-color aggro deck happen in the same deck that you want to play Rush of the Fallen does feel like potentially a tricky needle to thread. But I assume Usher and other spirits are mostly here to make Geistlight Snare work. Matty Sidetrack, how goes it? Well, so opponent drew a land, which I think means we win. I'm pretty sure I don't die, and as long as I don't die, I think I win. Yeah, opponent agrees. I have absolutely no clue what to sideboard here. Well, I like Town-razer Tyrants. I like 1-drops. I could theoretically play like Thundering Rebuke or something to answer the spirits, but I don't really want to do that. I don't want to like cut any of my creatures, because my creatures do things where they attack. I guess Outland Liberator is probably worth bringing in, because blowing up like portable holes and circle of confinements on attack seems interesting. Oh, if we have to cut something, what do we cut? I guess probably Ranger class. I don't know. Usually when I need to cut something, Ranger class is what winds up getting cut. That might just be a personal bias that has been developed over time at this point. so many days of having just decided to cut Ranger class against control 100% of the time may have led me to deciding to cut it much too often. Still waiting on opponent. I felt like we submitted with a relatively low amount of time left in sideboarding, so a tad bit nervous that I need to restart Arena because we might be stuck on a graphical glitch. Which, if that is the case, hopefully we haven't timed out of the first couple of turns. Well, no, we're back here with the opponent timing out. Last time we got this glitch, the opponent timed out, and then the rope just kind of sat there at 0 for a while until we lost the match. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Man, Ranger class was like the scariest possible card to see in AFR draft, and that's like 3rd or 4th best green 2-drop in Standard. Well, a big portion of that has to do with how long the games take. Alright. This is... sure, I'm going to keep, because I don't know that it matters. I feel like the opponent might time out and we might just win the game. There was a time period where Ranger class was like the card advantage engine that decided games in Standard for a while. And then, essentially when Lovestruck Beast rotated is about when I'm going to say this happened. Games sped up, or rather they stopped being slowed down. And suddenly they were getting decided before Ranger class had a chance to really kick in and have value from the 3rd, level? I'm going to go with level. The 3rd level kick in, and it's just not a stellar card at being aggressive. It's an okay card that can fill an aggressive curve a percentage of the time that makes it valuable. But, like, I think that Ranger class needs to be providing value off of its final mode at least some of the time for it to be a better card than just, like, a generic 3/2 2-drop. I don't think we're keeping the 2-drop into nothing hand. I do think I'll keep the 1-drop into 2-drop into 3-drop hand. And then we're going to hope that nothing goes wrong. What did I just put on the bottom? A forest? Yeah, I guess I had to. No, because I'm going to go Kessig Naturalist on turn 2, even if I draw a Werewolf Packleader. So I think throwing away the forest was fine. And this gives us the best chance to cast the Town-razer Tyrant if we end up having the Kessig Naturalist die for some reason. Shambling Ghast, not the most exciting thing to run a Packleader into, but can potentially deny them a treasure token at least. No, more Shambling Ghasts. Opponent. Don't you know that's annoyingly good? Oh, in Limited, I'm willing to believe Ranger class is absolutely excellent. Okay, I don't think they should have attacked with the Shambling Ghasts, so that's at least a minor relief. But yeah, Limited games generally go pretty long, and there's a lot of opportunities for Ranger class to be valuable there. And also just the resource evaluation of Limited games tends to favor cards that put as many stats on the board as Ranger class does. Really, opponent? Okay. I don't entirely understand why they've attacked with these Shambling Ghasts, or what this plan is, but I assume setting up some kind of combo is the name of the game here. Yeah, I still have no intention of blocking you. I feel like we're racing and then I'm winning, so exploit, make a bunch of zombies, very well. And make a bunch of treasure as well. This definitely seems like a Necro Duality combo deck, yeah. Agreed. Well, okay. The opponent's got a board, and the board does a lot of stopping me from attacking. If I play Town-razer Tyrant, am I attacking with the Ascendant Packleader? I feel like they just block with Undead Butler and a 2-2, and like that's bad for me. So I'm going to go with no, I'm not doing that. Ascendant Packleader plays a pretty good role blocking here. Are you burning? You're the one that's not burning. Yeah, okay. Town-razer Tyrant on 3 into Town-razer Tyrant on 4. Yeah, turns out. Decent curve. Alright, opponent. You've paid a lot of life. How much are we wiping the board then? Because there's 2 Town-razer Tyrants in play. So, like, you got a plan to wipe the board, right? I still do not plan on blocking. You are free to do 2 damage to me. It doesn't seem relevant. Okay, it is night. So what's the plan, opponent? We're going to give that Slasher haste and trample. And I think we're going to swing with everything? I don't know, maybe the opponent's got me dead on the backswing, but I'm going to go with I don't think they do. Yeah, Overcharged Amalgam, that makes sense. And then you sack that and counter the Lord of the Ulvenwald trigger. Sure. I feel like they probably should have countered the Stormcharge Slasher instead. So they can chump block Town-razer Tyrant, the 4/4. Or, okay, they can trade. Trading means that they take 4 and go to 2. So they have to lose both of their lands. That doesn't feel ideal. Okay, they get some tokens here. Not enough to, like, kill me, though? Yeah, transforming... the answer to can you counter it is yes and no. It depends on the reason why a card is transforming. If there is a trigger that instructs a card to transform, then you could counter that trigger. But day and night cards tend to transform as state-based actions, which are not triggers that use the stack, and therefore aren't something you can target with a counterspell. Okay. I assume that I want Brittle Blast because it's good against Headless Rider, and no, Exploit still happens regardless of whether the creature gets exiled or not, I suppose. So I suppose Flame Blast Bolt is actually just better than Brittle Blast, isn't it? Because I'm probably going to be targeting Headless Rider anyway 100% of the time. Question is, what do I cut to do that? And the answer, I think, is I don't want to cut any of my cards. I guess Town-razer Tyrant isn't excellent here, which is funny because it just totally took over that game and won it for us. No, wait, it is good, because I guess we actually need ways to fly over just infinity ground creatures, don't we? Confusingly pre-mid... Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Those actually were triggers. Killing the exploit creature in response to the ETB stops the effect, right? Yes, generally. So like Overcharged Amalgam has an ability that triggers when its exploit trigger resolves. So if you kill the Overcharged Amalgam before the ability resolves, then yes, you stop the ability. Skullscab is sort of different in that it's one of the only creatures that triggers whenever anything exploits a creature. So, like, if there's a Skullscab in play and the opponent exploits something with Overcharged Amalgam, killing the Overcharged Amalgam stops the Overcharged Amalgam's exploit trigger, but not the Skullscab's. Although if you could kill Skullscab in response to its own ability, then its own exploit trigger doesn't happen. Yeah, whatever, we're good. Why the attacks with the non-tramplers there? Because the non-tramplers would get blocked, but they would still require one creature to block them. I didn't really do the math on it, to be entirely honest, but felt like eating up more blockers so that fewer things could block the trampler would be relevant. Good enough. I was expecting that I was going to get to play another blocker post-combat. I was not expecting them to wind up, ooh, this is decent, countering my trigger to make my 3rd mana. But luckily it didn't really matter. Champion of the Perished. Oh no! I think I want to curve Pup into Rahilda. That seems like good times. Unfortunately, I imagine the Zombies deck is probably a lot better when it gets Champion of the Parish. Because that card's actually pretty good and stuff. Alright, I got a 3-power First Striker, opponent. What you gonna do about that? Do I attack with my 1-2? I think I attack with my 1-2. I don't think I'm doing anything else with my 1-2. Arena will warn you if you try to exploit something after the exploiter is killed on ETB in response to the exploit trigger. I did not know that. That's interesting. And the opponent can't really do anything because I have a 3-power First Striker, which is cool, but also I can't really attack because they have 2/3/3 blockers, and that's not cool. Alright, well, let's just play a bunch of cards then. Remember how I was saying earlier that Ranger class wasn't excellent because it's hard to get to the point where the 3rd level on it actually provides a ton of value? I feel like this is going to be a game where we're going to get to level it up to 3 and hopefully get some decent value out of that. So, opponent could attack with Champion of the Perished here, but not easy to do on account of me having 2 wolves that just trade with it, and a 3/3 that trades or eats anything else. Well, they've got enough blockers that even if Rahilda had 4 power, it would still die. So I guess we're just going to make a bunch of wolves, is the plan here. Now, admittedly, a turn ago, when I said that Ranger class's 3rd mode was looking relevant and good, that did not necessarily mean that 3 copies of the level 3 mode were going to be good. Kessig Naturalist. Could... I think I'd rather just level up a bunch of Ranger classes and have it turned to Knight. Yeah, Champion of the Parish is a 5/5, so I guess we're just passing. Opponent can't really attack with their big Champion of the Parish. Well, still no blue mana for the opponent. Undead Butlers, what do you want to get back, opponent? Skullscab? Shambling Ghast? I'm kind of incentivized to let them, I think. But on the other hand, I could just not kill them and take 1 damage. This too is fine. I think what we're going to do is, like, attack with an Infinity Rahilda with Double Strike and Trample. And Vigilance. Because this seems good, but also fun. I don't think they can block this profitably. Yeah? What do you think, opponent? If you stack block it with everything, it still does not die. So I'm going to kill 2 of your creatures, and then the other creature, and they have successfully stopped me from... Yeah, it has double strike. Alright. That's kind of what I was expecting there. He will take the play. We will keep this hand. We will hope we draw a 2-drop, I guess. Oh, we're on the play? Fancy that. Alright, deck. Let's see that turn 2 pack leader. Good work, deck. I knew I believed in you for a reason. We don't have day-night started. What is the opponent name with the Crossroads? Also black? Interesting. Which do you use your removal spell on, opponent? Oh, Parasitic Grasp. That gains life, which also means the opponent's on Esper. And that the Forsaken Crossroads choice on black might have been before they drew High with the Eye Tyrant, in all likelihood. Celestus. Okay. Durestus. Well, that gets rid of one of my lines for the turn, so hopefully we draw a land. We did not. Alright, well, things get a tiny bit dicey here up until we find a next land. Vanishing Verse on Pack Leader makes my life hard. Draw an untap land. Yes. Please no counterspell opponent. Wow, main deck Disdainful Stroke? That's kind of brave, but okay. But okay. Opponent gains life and filters, missing land drops, but probably has more removal. Alright, discover the formula. Happy we don't have to play against that card, I suppose. You did let it turn to night, opponent, so do you have Vanishing Verses? Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to gradually find out how much damage Tenacious Pups can get in. Ugh. Alright. Unfortunately, Parasitic Grasp is a clean answer to Halana and Alena. Yep. And Vanishing Verse is a clean answer to this Arsonist, so I think we lose at this point pretty cleanly. Well, alright. Rahilda is at least hard for them to answer. That's something. Although, not well, it is sort of hard for them to answer. They can end up casting Duress on their turn. Okay, so they can Duress me, Vanishing Verse a Tenacious Pup, and then Vanishing Verse Rahilda if they think this line through. I should have attacked with Tenacious Pups first. Is the backside of Rahilda not being versable a bug? It's not a bug in the sense that it is how the card as written works. It's a design oversight in the fact that this card not having a color indicator is probably a mistake. But that is on the design side of things, not on the bug side of things. So the fact that they used the Vanishing Verse on the Tenacious Pup on my turn currently looks like it's going to be a problem for them. Or not. Yeah, so now they can untap a land, untap Celestis, duress me, pass to my turn, have it be day, and then Vanishing Verse the Rahilda that way. Have we fought against vampires yet? Nope. Yep, there's the duress. Here is the daytime. My opponent's gained a disgusting amount of life. Yikes, divide by 0, huh? Not excited about that. I'm more upset about the fact that they discarded the divide by 0, because I don't know what that implies the 2 cards in their hand is, but I can't think of, like, any cards at all that were better than divide by 0, so I'm definitely concerned. Yes, the duress was not cast to remove a card, it was cast to turn it back to day so that Vanishing Verse could hit the Rahilda. Rahilda can't be Vanishing Versed while it is night, because the way this card is printed, it lacks a color indicator. If you see Volatile Arsonist on the backside next to creature, there's a little red dot, which means that the backside of the card is red. Because for some reason Rahilda was printed without that little red dot, the backside is colorless, and colorless does not get hit by Vanishing Verse. It's weird. Hopefully they Vanishing Verse this Volatile Arsonist. Okay, so they don't actually have an answer to this Lair of the Hydra right now. They do, however, have 20 life, and that's probably going to be a problem. Keeping the archive is bad for me. So, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, together with Lear, blocks Lair of the Hydra. That's a problem. Lone Goat, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. There are a ton of these little inconsistencies that make MTG needlessly harder for new players. This one in particular, I think, is a little beyond the norm, because I think Rahilda is just, like, actually straight up a design oversight that's probably going to get patched eventually. Ugh. Okay, Lair of the Hydra. Fire you up as a 5/5. Combat. Swing both at Teferi. There is actually a reason I'm swinging with Tenacious Pup here, which is that if the opponent decides to double block Lair of the Hydra with the Hive, then our Pup gets through 1 damage. What do you think, opponent? Alright. Okay, Teferi down. Did something. Oh, make me go get socks. Alright, let's see what we can manage. Alrighty. Cool, I didn't even time out because it's still the opponent's turn. Opponent looks like they're having a lot of fun, though. Wonder if they found an answer to Lair the Hydra by now. Wait, didn't we kill this? Oh, it's a new one. Bummer. Look at this card. Oh, consider. Okay. Opponent's at 26. It's gonna be tricky. I'll do this for 5. Go to combat, attack Teferi, see if the opponent wants to lose their Lair. They do! They do want to lose their Lair. Okay. You cannot flash Parasitic Grasp targeting Lair of the Hydra opponent. Okay. You can Parasitic Grasp your own Lair and that gains life. Fair enough. Showed me. Tovolar. No, I don't think that's going to be good enough here. Second Lair would make sense, yes. Ooh, you really got your rumble mode turned on, kitty. Hey, another Lair. They can click mostly random buttons. I'd like to think that if they were clicking random buttons, there's a probability that they end up decking before they kill us, but considering that casting an Approach of the Second Sun is now a way to win the game, that is slightly less likely. Alright, I don't think that I can beat them before they, cast Approach next turn. It was close, though. I got some good hits in. So we want Snakeskin Veil, Outland Liberator, that's probably it. I'm not enthusiastic about Ranger classes. Yeah, okay, ship it. What about the Hasty Big Wolf? Yeah, that's probably also extremely bad and should have gotten cut for the Ranger class, to be fair. Take the play. Okay, yeah, this works. We get to play Packleader on 2. We just start with Rockfall Vale on 1. And we have a Town-razer Tyrant, which is like the good card that we want to see against control. Okay, opponent's mulliganing. That seems like a decent start. You're really into licking, kitty. Ooh, okay, Tovolar's a curve. We got something going on here. I think I'd rather than Parasitic Grasp than Vanishing Verse here. Alright, well. Whatever and all that. Yeah, that's why I wanted them to Parasitic Grasp last turn, so that they wouldn't have it this turn. That said, we do get to resolve the Town-razer Tyrant now, and that's kind of fun. And more removal. Yeah, that's good. Alright, well, how would I try to play my hasty aggressive creature? Got a Disdainful Stroke for that opponent? Yeah, you do. Alright, well, I believe we've lost now, but we do get to keep trying. That's after the opponent mulliganed, too. And we curved out, but we're just going to have too many lands and not enough threats. Alright, well, yes, Werewolf Pathway. Alright, alright. So there's a chance. We wind up turning it back to day. Our dragon continues to poke the opponent for damage. Meathook Massacre is good. I guess this is cute. I get to sack it to blow up Meathook Massacre to prevent my opponent from gaining 1 life. Alright. Well, we've successfully drawn slightly better than the opponent in that I have some number of threats on the board and they have, I don't know, some number of answers in hand. Hopefully fewer. Key to the Archive. Well, that's not actually an answer. D-Spark they think they don't want. Okay. White, white, blue, blue, blue. I guess I go for the black source and hope that makes their life with Key to the Archive kind of awkward. Alright, I think this is slowly working. So unknown card in hand that they thought was worse or was better than D-Spark. Back when I didn't have anything that D-Spark hit. They play Lair, and now D-Spark has something to hit. Parasitic Grasp on Reckless Stormseeker is probably the right move here. Because if they let it go back to my turn... Yeah, they agree that that is the right move here. They kept this land burning. So they're going to have to chump with Lair. Alright, I would say that there is still a chance. In fact, I would say I'm probably favored. I don't imagine they keep that land, so they need an answer to the Town-razer Tyrant, and they need an answer to Lair, the Hydra. They say they don't have it. Alright. Turns out all you need to do is top deck better, and having a Lair of the Hydra helps. Okay, so we don't want the Volatile Arsonist. We do want the Ranger class. Maybe I should also want the other Ranger class, because that kind of situation made Ranger class look sort of decent. I'm going to go with no to the Kessig Naturalist on the draw and bring in the Ranger class. If more games look like that, then I guess this does get to the point where the Ranger class's third mode is likely to be good, and then that just makes the card better than I'm equipped to believe it is. I definitely can't mulligan this, but I don't know which land to play on turn 1 here. I don't think I'm supposed to play Packleader here. I don't think we want to board in a 6-drop. maybe a hexproof 6-drop is good enough to bring in, but that doesn't sound right to me. I feel like I'm probably supposed to play Kessig Naturalist in the hopes that they don't have Parasitic Grasp, but maybe I'm supposed to go Tenacious Pup, Ascendant Packleader, or the other way around? Kessig Naturalist. I have to hope really hard for Kessig Naturalist to not get killed. No, let's go Packleader into Tenacious Pup. This doesn't give them a super clean thing to Vanishing Verse. It means that if we do hit the untap land next turn and play Stormseeker, then it's not dying to Parasitic Grasp. Alright, they just consider. And we are still putting a lot of power on the board. Could be worse. It's not day and night yet, so they don't really have any incentive to play anything at sorcery speed. Guess technically Snakeskin Veil is a reason to have played something at sorcery speed. But we're missing the land drop, and that's a problem. Okay, I do not care about stopping them from bouncing Ascendant Packleader, because I can replay that if I want to. Do I want to? I don't know. Do I want to? Oh, playing this Kessig Naturalist hurts so much. I think I just want to replay the Packleader. Okay, so they didn't have a Vanishing Verse. They might have Parasitic Grasp. Eesh. Okay. Parasitic Grasp targeting Packleader would kind of mandate me to use Snakeskin Veil. Too much prevented life gain, too much prevented damage. But still missing land drops is a concern. Yep, Meathook Massacre makes sense. Now would be a good time to find an untapped land. Okay. Well, if the opponent doesn't find a Lair anytime soon, Parasitic Grasp isn't technically Lair. Opponent does go up to 20 life. We're definitely going to have to out-resource them at this point. Which, when we draw lands, we can maybe do. Definitely possible. Opponent flooding. Alright, alright. Okay. This seems like there's a very good chance. Definitely, absolutely a chance. Unfortunately, our Town-razer Tyrants aren't likely to be super great here, because the opponent has quite a bit of mana, but, you know. No, my Slasher. Woe is me. Weirdly, I think I still prefer to just play Stormseeker here over a Town-razer Tyrant. Probably? Is that true? I think that's true. Pretty good chance the opponent has Disdainful Stroke in hand right now anyway. Alright, we're getting there. How about we try a mid-range build? I don't think mid-range is the way to beat Esper, though. Admittedly, we're kind of looking like a mid-range deck right now, I suppose. We're definitely out mid-ranging the opponent, if the way to be a mid-range deck is to have way more cards than the opponent. Hey, it's that Disdainful Stroke that's been here the whole time. Oh, all the Storm Giants. Well, I guess that actually isn't as annoying as it could be if we successfully turn it into not having the ability to become a creature. I think I'm supposed to play Tovolar here. Alright. Hey, look at that. Land drops. It's like we're playing real cards. Meathook Massacre puts the opponent to 5. Golly, that's exactly enough to not die to this Lair, the Hydra. Got the other Disdainful Stroke opponent? Yeah, you do. Okay. Huh. Well... Oh, that's annoying. Well, it's not as annoying as it could be, at least. Didn't uptick, huh? Okay. Well, opponent, there's the possibility I don't choose to kill you. I could actually try to do something else. That's not unreasonable in that spot, but I'll take the concession because it prevents me from needing to make tough decisions. Take the play, keep in the hand, curve out, 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. No, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. That's how math works. I can get there eventually. You know, I kept saying we were going to play Is It, and I keep just re-queuing with Gruul, forgetting about that. So, I think I'm probably just not going to play Is It tonight, and that's going to be the plan for tomorrow instead. Green, Scry, definitely don't want the land. Good work, Scry. Another job well done. Ooh. Okay, that's actually an interesting question. I'm going to go with Rahilda is probably a better 2-drop than Werewolf Packleader. I feel like starting the day-night cycle against a deck that just said blue on turn 2 is actually correct. No! It's still day! Well, I still feel like our hand is perfect, so I'm not too upset, and I'm probably happy the opponent didn't bounce the Reckless Stormseeker, because the Reckless Stormseeker costs more mana to put into play than Rahilda. Opponent just curving out with the on-the-draw control deck mono tap lands. A famously powerful strategy. Let's play this Town-razer Tyrant. That seems like it'll probably be good against the opponent. Opponent, I'm gonna tax your blue mana. Are you okay with that? Yeah, they are. They have no complaints whatsoever, it would seem. Key to the archive. Sure. That is a lot of mana. That is a lot of mana. Kessig Naturalist's interesting. Is my plan still play Reckless Stormseeker, play Packleader, give Packleader haste? I think that is probably still the plan. It seems like the largest amount of damage. And also I draw a card, and I like drawing cards. Alright, we got the opponent at 7. Opponent's land is burning. They continue to take damage. Alright. Board wipe? Well, is it? Is it playing white? Okay, well. Sure. I don't think that's the color to splash to anti-aggro, but that does make Day of Judgment more effective. Alright. Kudos. Fair enough. And all that. Alright, well, let's play Rahilda, and Kessig Naturalist, and Ranger class, and see how the opponent handles that all after the board wipe. Luckily, land continues taxing our opponent to offset the Teferi a little bit. Geist Channeler. Alright. Well, definitely seeing some stuff now. What you got going on over there, opponent? Discounted Discover the Formula, and a blocker. Okie dokie. where are we putting this Ranger class counter? The opponent's definitely looking like they are considering removing whatever we put the counter on. For that reason, I definitely don't want to put it on the token in case they bounce it. What would I most want them to bounce? I guess it doesn't really matter between the Rahilda or the Kessig Naturalist that much. I guess if they have, like, a Braid, I would rather them kill the Rahilda. So I guess that makes putting it on the Naturalist wrong. Yeah, if it's just to divide by 0, then that's fine. Opponent goes down to 5. We replay Naturalist, play Packleader. Alrighty, opponent finally sacks that land and plays a Memory Deluge for 3. Okay. Could be better for us, could be worse. Opponent can get up to 9 life here. Really not progressing this game in the direction that I would like it to go. More blockers. Not ideal. Teferi close to ultimating. That's a problem. How do we handle that?
Second here, second there. Who's counting?
Okay, team. Do we have to attack Teferi here to prevent it from ultimating? Or are we going at the face? Thank you for the review. The Guardian of Faith plus a wedding announcement to go wide has been better for the control matchup so far. Nice. Happy to hear it's helpful. So I think I do want to play Tovolar pre-combat. Well, maybe. I don't know. Is activating Werewolf Packleader more valuable than drawing cards with Tovolar? I guess if I play Tovolar, I still can actually Werewolf Packleader. Assuming Kessig Naturalist gets to attack, which isn't guaranteed, but is possible. Opponent gets to play Memory Deluge at the end of turn? No, because this costs 6, not 5. Opponent has priority for something. Yeah, I can remove the Packleader. It makes my life hard. They divide the Tovolar instead of the Packleader. That seems like a curious choice. Alright, so they get to Mascot Exhibition next turn, and I don't know if I'm beating Mascot Exhibition no matter what, but Teferi's Ultimate definitely makes it way less likely I could ever beat a Mascot Exhibition. If I attack with Packleader at Teferi, they double block it, I think. I think that's still the line, though, because I can't kill him this turn no matter what they have here. I guess I could put the counter on Werewolf Packleader, and if they double block it, they lose both Geist Channelers. I just assume that they're okay with that, though. I think I'm supposed to try to put more power onto the board in a scenario where they do double block Werewolf Packleader, or rather more power onto their face taking damage. Okay, well, that could have been worse. Okay, so now Teferi's not threatening to ultimate. Do I play Tovolar here? Or do I upgrade Ranger class? I think I'm supposed to play Tovolar. Definitely don't play the Rahilda. Did we win against the Lair deck? I don't... oh, the Esper deck? Yes. Yes, I do believe we won that. Kind of surprisingly. We eventually drew lands and it worked out. Alright. So opponent plays Mascot Exhibition. No. Lair is worse. And now the board gets wiped. That's a problem. I regret not upgrading the Ranger class. What did the floating mana accomplish, opponent? Ah, okay. Kind of think they were probably better off casting the Environmental Sciences as a 2-drop with the Lair, but it works too. Ooh, alright. Town-razer Tyrant's a fun card to get cast off the top of our deck. What are we going after here? Blue sources or white sources? I guess probably white sources is better. Alright, 2 damage to the opponent. That's a beginning. Mascot Exhibition does not put anything into play that can profitably block the Town-razer Tyrant. They do get a chump block though, which is something. Opponent continues to gain life. Oh, formulas discovered. Okay. Gives you 5 mana to work with opponent. It does not let you actually play Mascot Exhibition. Geist Channeler lets you play Mascot Exhibition. Okay. Well, Stormseeker's cool. And Packleader is cool. And Tenacious Pup is cool. More Town-razers are cool. What am I doing with this Stormseeker? Giving Werewolf Packleader haste, I suppose? Because it attacks and draws a card? Ooh, I could also play Rahilda, get a counter on Rahilda, give Rahilda haste. Attack with a 4-power First Striker. It still only trades with the 4/4, though, so I don't think that's actually correct. No, I think we're putting the counter on, or we're giving the Packleader haste, and then swinging it face with both of these. Where are we putting this +1/+1 counter? I forgot about this +1/+1 counter. That might have changed the math on Rahilda. It did change the math on Rahilda, yeah. I still don't know if that was correct to attack, though. Or correct to give Rahilda the haste instead of the Packleader and give up the card. I think we put the counter on Town-razer Tyrant. Yeah, because I'm still playing the Rahilda post-combat regardless. Whoa! Taking it? That's kind of surprising, but okay. Well, we'll go wider. I see no reason not to. Counter on a leader so it doesn't trade with a 3/2? Yeah, maybe? I feel like the Town-razer combat, or the Town-razer Tyrant being able to attack for more damage the following turn with no creature in the air made me feel more okay with trading the Werewolf Packleader. just because I felt like the Tyrant was going to represent more actual ability to connect. It also gets it out of range of various red 4 damage removal spells that the opponent might top deck. So we're top decking a land, which puts us at 9 mana, so if they wind up bouncing Town-razer Tyrant, we get to just keep replaying them. And the opponent is somehow becoming kind of constrained on their mana here. I'm kind of amazed at how well this Ranger class is doing in terms of keeping us in the game with the opponent having resolved, I think, 2 copies of Discover the Formula? 2 copies of Discover the Formula with Teferi and Key to the Archive in play. The fact that this match is even close to even is kind of a miracle. Alright, so... definitely playing Town-razer Tyrant, because we can give it haste with Stormseeker. Then we give it haste with Stormseeker. And I think we're swinging with everybody, because the opponent's limited to 3 mana here. Okay, Galvanic Iteration, bounce spell times 2. Presumably hits the Tyrants. So my attacks right now are not terribly profitable, but we can play more Town-razer Tyrants. I can swing with Werewolf Packleader and Rahilda. Drawing the land doesn't accomplish much, but does get it out of the way. Packleader gets eaten by a 4/4. So if I attack with everybody, they probably 4/4 block the Stormseeker, and I don't want that. One thing gets to... so they wind up... if I attack with... I guess if I attack with Rahilda and Packleader, the advantage is I put a +1/+1 counter on the Rahilda, and they're only killing one of the 2. They can't kill both. I can also swing with Tenacious Pup and the Stormseeker at the Teferi, because that ultimate is actually a concern. I also have the option to pump Packleader if it means... yeah, I think I'm actually supposed to swing with everybody at the Teferi. I don't think I can afford to hold the Stormseeker back here. Alena is interesting. It's definitely the wrong place for my opponent's 4/4. That's definitely like the worst possible blocks I could imagine the opponent making. So I'm kind of surprised. They probably should have taken more time to think about this. I could give the Packleader Trample, but they didn't block the Stormseeker, so I don't actually need to. Alright, well, yeah, we're just gonna do this then. Yeah, we're gonna play Town-razer Tyrant. And this is the one we already hit, so we'll hit the other one. Opponent takes more damage. And more damage. Alright. You got mana, opponent. Let no one deny you got mana. You want out Soxes? Okay, key to the archive. And I can find all sorts of fun cards. Well, we'll block Geist Channeler. I assume that means the opponent found Wrath of God again? Or Demonic Tutor for something? I guess, are you just going to cast an Alrund's Epiphany? Straight up? No. Okay. Different board way. Sure. 2 mana available, huh, opponent? Blondie TF2. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Alright, that one's the burning one. Oh. Let's play around, I don't know, like 2 copies of ability to do damage to me? Or Force Spike my land? Force Spike my card. That's what I was thinking about. Alright, well, opponent, are you not dead? You are not dead. Alright, you did get there. I'm going to play more cards off the top of my deck. Yeah, this is an extremely good Ranger class, is it not? Okay, so I imagine the opponent Demonic Tutored for Alrund's Epiphany, probably? No? No, they probably Demonic Tutored for the Burn Down House, actually. We burned so many lands. Town-razer Tyrant is such a silly Magic card. Also, that was like, what, the 5th Discover the Formula? Something like that? You know, people have tried to tell me that card's good. I don't know if I can see it. I guess it's keeping the opponent in this. Oh, hey, there's another Burn Down House. Oh, right. I forgot that also hits Planeswalkers. I always forget that hits both, instead of choosing one or the other. Alright, opponent's got 5 mana, 9 life. Here we are. We have actually out-card advantaged the opponent. I think Discover the Formula needs a buff. I mean, to be honest, the opponent's got kind of an embarrassing amount of land in play, too. Oh. We're done? It stopped? Town-razer Tyrant resolve opponent? No, you're not going to bounce it? Okay. Well, let's go after the blue mana then. Okay. Well, if you're going to bounce something, I'd really rather you bounce the Town-razer Tyrant than anything else. Although you probably would have bounced the Halana and Alena. We're going to put that in your face. Put more counters on it. Okay, opponent down to 2. I imagine that means they're sacrificing the island, probably. Also, Burn Down the House is no longer an answer to Town-razer Tyrant. And they don't really have enough mana to play Lair and go... Well, they have Teferi, alright, so they can play Lair and go off with it. But... yeah, Key to the Archive I don't think is the answer, opponent. Yeah, maybe they get Wrath of God. Maybe they get Time Walk. Approach isn't good enough. Galvanic plus... Okay, Galvanic plus Doomblade. Alright. That was not the correct target. You definitely wanted to kill Halana and Alena, opponent. Oh, alright. So you're dead. I guess 4 power on board was also lethal regardless. So, sure. Yep, alright. Somehow, we actually won that game of Magic the Gathering. Almost entirely because of the one very bad blocks turn, but I don't know, maybe we still would have gotten this regardless. No, because if they had made better blocks, they would have actually like been able to ultimate Teferi. Alright, where were we? Think I want Snakeskin Veil. Think I want Outland Liberator. Don't think I want Volatile Arsonist. Think I'm going to reconsider my stance on Ranger class not being good enough, perhaps? Let's see. We need a cut, though. We definitely need a cut. What's the cut? Is it Ascendant Packleader? I might not be convinced Ascendant Packleader is good enough against the Spikefield Hazard deck. Possibly? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. As for removal, I have to be worried about Egg post-board. And I have to be worried about Lair. I'm kind of tempted to like cut 2 more pack leaders and bring in the Thundering Rebuke. Maybe like all the pack leaders and bring in the Thundering Rebukes? I'm also kind of worried that Geist Channeler is actually going to be a good answer to my 2-1. Now admittedly the 2-1 becomes a 3-2. So maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm just not supposed to board out of aggressive creatures against control. Yeah, alright. Werewolf pack leader into Tovolar. That's a game plan. Telling me I get to play 2 Lair of the Hydras as my first 2 land drops? Oh, then my deck of so many lands that are bad later on. This is great. Wow, no Abrade, no Jawari Disruption, no Fading Hope? Opponent, what kind of hand did you keep over there? Did you just assume that being on the draw was going to fix all your problems? Opponent, are you trying to tell me you still don't have Fading Hope? I just get to draw a card for free? No! We still drew a tap land even after all the Lair of the Hydras we played earlier. Oh, cool. So it's night? Alright. That seems good for me. Oh, they finally found a Fading Hope. Okay. Yeah, that does not seem like waiting until my turn to use that Fading Hope was right. Letting it turn into night seems bad. I guess I probably could have played Kessig Naturalist pre-combat. I forget this thing's actually an Anthem. So, 1 point of missed damage. Technically 2 if the Tovolar didn't get answered. No, my house! My beautiful house. Alright, more creatures. I wonder if I wasn't supposed to play out that many creatures there into the possibility of burn down the house. That might have just been sloppy play by me. I don't think I was supposed to play around the second burn down the house for sure, though. Yeah, not super excited about the way this hand is shaping up. Opponent has Spikefield Hazard by the looks of it. Opponent did in fact have Spikefield Hazard. Lair leaves him with Fading Hope. Okay. So Halana and Alena activate Lair of the Hydra for 1, put 2 counters on it. Sure, that's probably correct. I imagine the opponent tries to bounce Halana and Alena. And then I get to Snakeskin Veil that, and put 3 counters on the Lair of the Hydra? I don't know, that seemed cute. I don't know if it's good. But having a big Lair of the Hydra seems probably helpful at some point. Teferi's annoying, but they don't have any key to the archive yet, so it's not, like, great. And I still have this Halana and Alena, so, like, I can fire up 2 Lair of the Hydras and split the counters up amongst them. Seems kind of cool. So Bona could double block my Halana and Alena here. That's not great. So fire up 1 for X equals 1 and the other for X equals 2. Attack with both at face. Ends up with a 4/4 and a 5/5 Lair attacking. Doesn't give me lethal no matter what. I could play the untap land and attack with 2 5/5s. I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to play the 3rd Lair of the Hydra. If I attack here... Oh, right! Alena still has first strike. Definitely going to remember that eventually. So I can kill the Geist Channeler before the double block kills Halana and Alena. Yeah, so opponent loses the Geist Channeler and takes 4. Their position here is still pretty fine. Or at least it's... Their position is fine. It's not good, but they untap with a Lair and that's something. Alright. Key's a good card. That's a problem. Teferi stops being a bad card now. Are you planning to try to board wipe your opponent? I don't think that's good. Oh, no. Teferi gives pseudo-vigilance. Sure. Oh, they hit Time Warp. Okay, I lose. That's why Key to the Archive is a good card, because 1 out of 15 times it ends the game. Sure. Still not enthusiastic about that design from a interesting gameplay standpoint. Yeah, it does not exile itself, and that is extremely good. Very much so, yes. Alright, how much damage does the opponent have available next turn? 9? Alright, so I'm not dead yet. Is it 1 out of 15 or 3 out of 15? That's fair. 3 out of 15. 3 out of 15 is much more correct. Alright, there's another key. I also get to burn down the house for some chump blockers here, which could be a problem. I think odds are that it's very unlikely either this game or next game will go long enough that we end up in a position where... Oh, they ultimated Teferi, huh? That's bad for me. Yeah, taking 3 extra turns is strong. No, 2 extra turns, I suppose. Untapped and a Lair, huh? This would be a good time to have one of those Thundering Rebukes. Alright, well... Gonna animate this layer of the Hydra. And we're gonna animate this layer of the Hydra. And we're going to animate this layer of the Hydra. That is not a sequence of lines you see all that often. And we're going to put some counters on this layer of the Hydra. I guess we're going to attack with everybody. Does attacking with Halana and Alena accomplish anything here? I don't know. I can't tell if it doesn't accomplish anything. I guess it dies. That's not great. But it prevents them from killing any of the layers, which might be fine. Stops them from doing damage to my face, which is actually relevant. Because we're not... It stops them from doing 1 damage to my face. That's not really relevant. Alright, well, the opponent gets to draw infinity cards. So... yeah. That's pretty bad. Pretty not great. Polite of them to not Fading Hope my Lair of the Hydra. I would like to draw the ability to kill Lair. I don't know if it'll be good enough, but it would be nice. Alright, take a bit of damage. Opponent probably has some key to the archives by now.
And some think time only flows in one direction.
Or they can divide by 0 keys to try to get more time warps. That's true too. Mascot Exhibitions, a lot of blockers. They try to replay key. They have successfully burned 3 minutes doing all this instead of just killing me. So I guess that's good for me. Yup. Alright. Playing this was a mistake. I was supposed to hold up more Lair of the Hydras as blockers. I didn't realize this was going to tap me out of quite this much mana. Okay. I was on the draw, so shouldn't you come into play untapped? I think I'm playing for time here, which means holding up the ability to do 2 blocks with Lair of the Hydra. Definitely shouldn't have played Alena and Alena because it can't block Teferi. So if they're mindful with how they use Fading Hopes, they can Burn Down the House for creatures, and then Fading Hope to remove one blocker. And I think that's lethal. If I had 2 blockers up, I could represent blocking the 4/4 and the 3/4. No, I guess Fading Hope still deals with that, so I didn't actually have a way to survive here. I can only make them waste as much mana as possible. Oh, hey, cool, they Fading Hope the Alena. That's... doesn't accomplish anything. But it was from the hand and not from the graveyard, so... still cannot survive. Opponent decides to divide by 0, the more expensive key to the archive. I feel like perhaps the opponent has forgotten they lost game 1. And so they have to win game 3. But I'll take it. I was expecting them to have won this game about 3 minutes ago. So every second beyond that is kind of bonus for me. And we have progressed a lot of seconds beyond that. It's possible someone needs to remind the opponent that it's their go. How many cards you got left in your library, opponent? 19? Alright, so maybe mill is a win condition too. We regrowthed back, burn down the house. Okay. You were capable of casting that from the graveyard, opponent. But okay, sure. Alright, we are going to animate Lair of the Hydra for 1. What color is this on? Green? Perfect. Doesn't actually matter. Alright. You want to try to Fading Hope my Lair of the Hydra, opponent? No, you're going to let me go to blockers? Alright, I'm going to block the 4/4. You want to go to damage, opponent? You sure? You super sure? Okay, I've died. 5 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. And now the opponent has a panic attack, realizing that they still have a game to play. Yeah, no changes, I don't think. We'll take the play. We'll keep this hand. This hand's awful. I get to play Crossroads on turn 1. Scry? What do I even name? Green? This is definitely pretty bad. Thundering Rebuke is not a card I want in my opening hand. The problem is, even if this draws into untapped land, it's still not an excellent hand. That's the big concern right now. I guess it is... Maybe I keep Thundering Rebuke, given how many seconds they have on the clock, since it... No, not Kessig Naturalist. Since Thundering Rebuke shuts off most of their best ways to actually kill us. No untap land. This is problem. Alright, we'll play Rahilda. I'm imagining it's getting Fading Hoped here regardless. So the only important thing is to not... Oh, no. Interesting. Okay. Rahilda Divided. Untap land would be nice. I'd like to get to play Stormseeker. I mean, it's a tap land. That's a bummer. Okay, in that case, what are we playing? Still Rahilda, probably? Outland Liberator is interesting if it's Knight, but if the opponent plays Key, which is the thing I'd really like it to be Knight for Outland Liberator 4, then it's not Knight. Okie dokie, that's a good draw. Stormseeker's fun, still holding up Snakeskin Veil. What you got with the interaction over there, opponent? Fading Hope on Rahilda. Yeah, I'll wager that's worth using the Snakeskin Veil on. Oh, Teferi seems fun. That removes blockers later on. Yeah, there's a burn down the house. That I'm not terribly surprised by. Oh, I don't have a third red source, huh? Or second red source. That's gonna be a problem. Huh. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Alright, let's make some wolves. I might need a Teferi to make a second red source. Lear plus Fading Hope. Sure. I think I have to Thundering Rebuke to force them to Fading Hope their own Lear. I need to set them back on the mana. Still a lot of cards, but this time around they don't have Fading Hope. If they just jam Lear, I can play Halana and Alena to put a counter on Outland Liberator. And then put a +1/+1 counter on the Wolf, so I'm attacking with 2 4/4s. Okay, Geist Channeler, discover the formula, missed land drop? That's pretty good. Okay, so I can swing with both these creatures and play Teferi? That's probably bad, so I think I'm supposed to play Halana and Alena. Yep, we got a chump block. Damage to the opponent. Do we imagine the opponent casts a board wipe now? They only have a hand of cheaper spells, including the Lear. Okay, Key. Opponent has enough mana to play Teferi if it's discounted. But, yeah, okay. Who needs a second red source or Town-razer Tyrant? I hear that's an overrated card anyway.